राग सोरठ पानी भगत रविदास जी की एक ओंकार सतगुर प्रसाद। जब हम होते तब तू नाही, अब तू ही मैं नाही. This first line to me was very, very beautiful, right? And that is the essence of the paragraph that we're reading today. When our arrogance is alive within us, when we are alive with our ego within us, then there is no place for you, dear Lord. There is no place for humility. There is no place for any other thought except I, me, myself. But when you enter us, when your power, when spirituality, when your grace enters us, when humility enters us, then there is no I. Then the I is swapped out. Because until that is done, what happens? Anal agam jaise leher mahi uddam. Anal agam jaise. It's like how, let's say, winds, rough winds, agitate the waves of a sea. Leher mahi udhi, jal keval jal mahi. The way the winds actually make the waves on a sea, increase the tide of the waves, cause a lot of disturbance in the sea. That is what we end up doing. This is so beautiful because if you think about it, that is what we are doing, right? Our own misconceptions of what is happening, our own thoughts. We are so engrossed, overwhelmed, and eaten in our own thoughts, our own narrative of what's happening. Our thoughts, our narrative are the winds that are disturbing our cognitions, our peace, our emotions, our soul. And that soul is the water that's there. That is what the analogy here is. That it is our thoughts that disturbs our being, our living. But what we don't realize, that we are doing this to ourselves. Right? This is keval, jal keval jal mahi. The water is staying within the water, causing disturbance within the water, but it is still water. We are not able to look outside our own narrative, look for another opinion, look for another solution or suggestion, because we are so consumed within ourselves. Because I, me, myself, I know the thought. No, it is something else. No, I think it is this. No, I think it is that. Oh, I am saying it is this. Oh, I think it is this. Oh, can I do this? Can I do that? I, and I. And it is the I within the I and within the I that creates a nested set of for I loops that is so difficult to get out of. How can you find a solution that is outside of the I? How can you exit of that for loop, of that infinity for loop? Next, Madhve, kya kahiye bhram aisa. Once you realize that, then you reach out to God and you look up and you say, oh dear Lord, what is this delusion? Where am I stuck? What is this trap of illusion that I am stuck in? It is unfortunately not just an optic illusion. It is an illusion of the mind, of reality. Jaisa maniye hoye na taisa. What I am thinking to be true is actually not true. The reality is something else, but I have just built up this entire alternate reality in my head of thoughts and narration, and I seem to be stuck in that. Rahao. Narpat ek सिंहासन सोया सुपने भैया भिखारी. We have a throne, right? Let's say, for example, a Raja has a throne and a kingdom, but because of his own insecurity, when he sleeps at night or when there is trouble, he thinks that he's a beggar. So just like that, all of us as human beings, we have our own thrones. Our throne is our house, our existence, our whatever it is that we do. There is an existence and life and peace and happiness that we have. There is something that God has given to each one of us. But when we sleep, What are we dreaming of? Of the things that we don't have. We're dreaming of being standing with a a bowl. We're thinking of being someone who is derived and deprived of the things that we think we deserve. This is despite having a throne that is symbolic of a life that is maybe better than those around us. And we continue because we say, Achat Raj Bichurat Dukh Paya Sogat Bai Hamari. Such is our state, Gat is our state, such is our state that we have a kingdom, we have a life that is intact. We have faculties that is working. We have people in our life that are supportive of us. We have a kingdom that is everything. Everything is fine. And yet we are sad and upset and fearful that it's going to be taken away from us. And we spend so much of time in fear that what we have is going to go, that we are inadequate, that we are inferior, that we don't have the things that we believe or we think we should be having. What is this? Illusions. What is this? Perceptions. Perceptions of what? Perceptions of doubt, self-doubt, lack of self-belief that is creating a hole in your bucket of existence. Raj Bhuyang Prasang Jaise Hai Ab Kachu Maram Janaya. Finally, we realize that the solution, what is the solution, or what is it that is happening to us? How does that all come together? The understanding that, hey, all of this is perception is the marham that the bani is talking about. Marham is the solution that the bani is talking about. What does that mean? We suddenly realize, the day we realize that, oh my God, this is the mind playing tricks. Tricks such as what? The bani has a story of how the human being mistakes a rope to be a snake. Now that can have so many interpretations, right? When we mistake a rope as being a snake, those of us who are superstitious think, oh my God, it is the Lord Shiva himself, the reincarnation of Lord Shiva, that is a snake, that is come to give us a visit, and that means what we're doing is auspicious, that means we are special, that means we are the chosen one, and we run with that thought. We think of it as being auspicious and superstitious, and we go with that thought, or we think that what we're supposed to be doing is actually the right thing, and we continue to do it because that is what our mind is interpreting. And the other interpretation of this could be that really what we think is a snake is nothing but a rope, but the fear of it being a snake makes us choose self-preservation, because remember, we are afraid. The I, me, myself wants to survive. The I, me, myself wants to live, right? The I, me, myself wants to be the best, and wants to be selfish and cunning and shrewd, and wants to think of all these different solutions. So when we think it's a snake, the fear in us comes alive, and we think of all these different alternate solutions. Oh my God, there's a snake, let's not go there. Oh, that's not good for us. How about we go here? How about we do this? How about we do that? We are doing all of that, messing things up in our own head, all because of a perception that it's a snake. But really, the threat that we think is a snake is not really a threat. It is a rope. And maybe that rope is a rope of support that the God himself that is reaching out to us, that the universe itself is reaching out to us. But do we look at it as that? Do we find clarity? No. We interpret it in our own ways, and we run in our infinite different directions of all these silly, fearful loops of arrogance and our own narration, without stepping out and trying to find a different meaning, a meaning that is outside of you. Everything is not about you. Everything that is happening to you is not about you. Right? Why are you so hell-bent on making your life about you? Why is I, me, myself so big? And then you think you are to God? And then you think that you're spiritual and that you have understood God? No, you're still thinking of I, me, myself. Oh, this is what God wants. I need to do this. Oh, this is what it is. This is the interpretation. I need to do that. Why I? Why is there still I? अनिक कटक जैसे भूल परे, अब कहते कहून ना आया. We finally understand and make that understanding. What I have been doing so far in my life is, for example, when I look at metals, let's say bangles that are together, that are maybe painted yellow, I interpret the khan, the sound of it, the presence of it, the visual of it as gold. I interpret it as gold and I think, oh my God, this person is wearing gold. But we forget all that glitters is not gold. It is just our understanding of it, our narrative of it, our interpretation of it. We assume, oh my God, that person has gold, so maybe I also want it. Oh, that person has that, so maybe I also want it. We look at what others have and we think what they have is superior than us. And we deem ourselves inferior and inadequate, and then again we get trapped in that mind of ours, where we then try to find solutions and interpretations and all that nonsense. But now when I have come to realize that this entire game is of illusions and something that I am doing to myself, I have taught myself to not talk. I have taught myself to not be over smart. I am teaching myself to not over-interpret, over-analyze. I am teaching myself to just observe and accept and see and understand that all of this is just my thoughts. It is the water and the water that is creating the tides. Yes, it is the winds, but the winds is my interpretation and my own narrative that is creating all that disturbance in my own existence and making me feel that I am not good enough, that I am rubbish, that the other person has this gold and what I have is nothing. Sarbe, hey dear Lord, Ek, He is one. But look, अनेके स्वामी सब घट बोहवे सोई. But he is found everywhere. That is the biggest illusion that mankind has, that our God, the God that we pray, the God that we agree is the only God and He's the most powerful God, and since He's the most powerful God, He has the victory and the courage and the power over everybody else, and hence I am right. The God that I believe in is right. My vision, my version of religion is right. What fallacy is that? He is one God, but He has so many different versions, so many different avatars, and it is He that exists in everything around us. What are you doing, dear man? What are you doing? Keh Ravidas says, Haath pe nere, sehje hui, so hui. The only solution for us to get out of all this is what? When we are able to accept God within us. Remember how this started. As long as I am within myself, there is no room for spirituality. There is no room for growth. There is no room for God. There is no room for an alternate understanding. I'm sorry. We are so engrossed in I, me, myself, and we take arrogance in understanding the bani and thinking it is I who is doing it. But that is our fallacy. But when we allow God to enter us, then we begin the journey of losing us, losing I, losing myself. And that is when truth enters. And when truth enters, we realize that God is close to. When truth enters us, we realize God is close to us. And when God is close to us, that is when we gain clarity. Clarity of thought, clarity of existence, clarity of understanding that there is so much more to this world and to this existence beyond the I. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.